Hello and welcome. It is the 6th of April 2021. My name is Derek and this is the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades, and of course, amongst the like, each his own risk and their own reward. For myself, risk reward management is always job number one. And BTC against the USD. Boring. Well, I mean, it's constructively nicely boring. It's just not doing anything. I mean, it's been in the sideways range for quite some time, and I mean, this high is lower than this one, but barely higher than this, and it's still noticeable uptrend. But it's generally sideways for the most part at the upper end of all-time highs, which is close to 3x higher than the all-time highs of 2017. Of course, you can see on the monthly, well extended from the 18 average, and yeah, you can just see the weekly just not doing much, which means this thing is going to, at any time, and it could be a while, it could go in either direction to the stage of, okay, it breaks resistance and it's flirting with it, it seems right now. That you see 80, 90, 100,000 very fast. And then on the downside, well, we haven't had any major retracement since this thing has broken out. An excitation of the 18 average of highs on the weekly term occurring before Halloween last year did so below $12,000. So therefore, any major corrections just hasn't happened. They're gonna happen when you have one, two, three, four, five, 6 consecutive months up in a row. And really, since the March of 2020, there hasn't even been any real down months. I mean, the only down months was 3.29 and 7.5%. That's like nothing. And it can continue to be this way for 4, 5, 6 more periods. But there's going to be one at some point, and yeah, it could be 100, 140 before this corrects. Right now we're at 60. This is the volume on Coinbase. I'm going to bring up Bitcoin dominance here pretty soon because that's the one thing that really caught my eye when I looked at it earlier today. And here it is, 56.77 calculated by TradingView. See the volume in here? It's just wowzers. It's been crazy. I suppose this is all of the trades involving Bitcoin against something. Bitcoin against the dollar, Bitcoin against all these altcoins. There's a lot of them on there. I don't know, but this thing is breaking down, showing altcoin supremacy right now over Bitcoin. It's barely gotten below this level of support, but it showed a little bit of weakness here amongst the 18 average of lows before March 29th, decent decline. And if this thing does go down like it did in 2017, you're gonna, especially if Bitcoin holds in there and or goes up. Oh boy, all these other coins, these altcoins, start board rally, and it looks like we're in it right now in the early, leaving the early to mid stages. I think we'll get to the altcoins very soon. But we'll finish off with Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin again, then onto it. So major level of support here at 60. It came down to it on February the 6th, and an excitation pretty much at the start of the month of April. So for the few days here, big move here, and this level of a little bit of support here. If it is, it's going to pierce extra. So far, not much at that level. And amongst the 4 hour, you can just see it's been continuous ever since pretty much the start of the month. And then one thing I want to finish off with BTC is this Fibonacci from this high to this low. Ever since it broke out above this, so March 29th, it has held and stayed above 61.8. Hasn't been most productive on a bullish level since then, but it's not bad either. Decent sized rally up to this level comes back to find support, and since then it has rallied, but rallying to a lower high, matching high. Kinda maybe supporting this area here. Keyword is maybe. But it is holding in there right now, so the optimistic signs to me still look good for Bitcoin on the short term, intermediate term time frame. Now let's switch on to Litecoin against the US dollar. 238 is what the price is. And we'll start off with the 15-minute term time frame. So interesting volatility here just intraday today's session. Price action coming to 240 down to 213 and then getting it all back in a bit more. And it's actually came back now to this previous high. That's where the price action is now. This thing to me looks as if it's ready to go. 4-hour term, we see a nice little breakout here, excitation, but this is interesting here when we look at this on the daily. So these key fib levels doing its thing, comes up to it second week of February, resists it, doesn't come back to the 136 level, which is okay, whatever. Resisted a second time, pull back, higher low. Third time, and major higher low when you figure 152, which is a higher low from 118. And then this higher low of 166, of course higher than 152. And then this major higher low at like 191. It's gotten above this previous resistance level of 225. And what was this highest level? This is 247. And today's intraday session 245 almost, so pretty much a matching exact high. So to me, the way this is setting up and how it is just making this sideways move, to me it looks poised for a very significant move, or that of a breakout extension. Weekly term time frame. This is a 76.4 Fibonacci level, by the way, and this is 61.8. So therefore, for this selling to show indications, or this from December 11th timestamp 2017 to December 10th timestamp 2018, one full year basically, for that to be a successful sell-off, I need to see price action hold and stay below $209.85, or that of the 61.8% mark. Very fast move on his first run to it in 2019, but holding and staying below it. And then all of this stuff in here, and now back to it. And well, if you're bearish, you gotta not do it. It's not holding and staying below it right now. Okay, yeah, I can pierce extra, come back down, but what's the deal here? You have this red candle down, which is what we need on a bearish level. If you're bearish, a little bit of okay, fine, lower high, and then you see this two red candles. This is where it almost needs to go down, but it's doing the opposite. You have a green candle sideways, which is fine, but this green move up, leaving the 18, as I see it doing so, breaking Fibonacci, is telling me we're going to next key level. Next key level is previous high, $420. As far as the next level after that, I'd like to go 161.8%. And what I want to see is a significant rally and a significant correction, and boy, is both correct here. Significant rally, wow, going from like $3 or whatever up to 420. Significant corrections, I mean, decent time and price. What I want to do is I want to take the high divided by whatever the 61.8% 8 is number, which is around here, to the extension of 1.618, multiply that same number around here. And that around here number is $22.25, and I've pre-calculated up target $2,581. So does that make sense if I look at this on a log scale? Well, this is 4,000, which would be a decent. That's a decent sized gain, and 25 is even down to here, or yeah, this level here. That would make a lot of logical sense. So that would be an area that could easily come into play, not only this year, but even well before, even before the summer ends, maybe. Even the next few days, I think we're going to be reaching previous high. I think like 420, 500 in the next 5-10 days. We'll see if it is or not, but price only pay, meaning I'm predicting there's a good chance of a large green candle, because this is a weekly term time frame. I love its breakout extension here, as I see here with a daily. Let's now move on to QTUM, which has been making a big move, and I got an ultimate price target at 3,000, but I have been distributing out of QTUM as this thing has been going higher. And price target again of 3,000. where I stated before, but just a beautiful run that this has had and having a fantastic day today, up 23.8%, most certainly having a clear break above the established resistance that it had on February the 11th. So it wouldn't be a surprise if this number hits today, tomorrow, next day kind of deal because it's just been a fantastic run so far. And I've been putting it into a couple different coins, Mona and Dot mainly, or Cardano actually. Cardano. That was at the start. I started putting into Cardano. Then the recent one into Mona, which this is just the 15-minute time frame, and it's just at my average buy price now. Given that this is I bought on the break here. This is when I started getting in here. So I bought like 3,800 here. Then I bought again. I just bought again. Hour, been in a nice uptrend. 4 hour. I like how this is extending, breaking out above this, and how it's been holding amongst it. So I kind of like it set up this way. Daily chart. These things have had some explosive moves, and I think it's due for one. We'll get to that when we see the longer term, but it has this breakout above here, comes back down to 18. I like how it's exiting out above it. But here's a decent sized move in 2019 where it went from like 11 change up to like 80. And then 10,000 up to like 26. Relatively quick in each time frame, too. Even back in here, 10,000 up to like 100, 10x, we'll say. So the moves can be relatively interesting if they occur, but I hate to use this term, and I hardly ever use it. In fact, I don't even remember using it on this channel, but very common in the gambling talk. House money, which is basically profits. And that's basically what I'm playing, but I don't like to say that is because it is your actual portfolio. And whether it's house money or any other, it should be protected pretty much the same way. With that being said, it's a lot of people are seeing some gains of magnificent proportions right now. It's gonna put in a couple ranges in 1 to 5% and 5 to 25. If you were to liquidate that percentage out of a portfolio, the way I look at it is how much. First of all, what is it? What is that worth? Like, what's 1% times it by five? That's 5%. How meaningful would that be to add to yourself? Thus, could you use it as money? That it as in cryptocurrencies? And if so, if you pull anything like this out, essentially what you'd be doing is you would be really not denting your portfolio, just making it having a small decline. Meaning, if it keeps going higher, you're going to be wanting that, and it's pretty much going to be in the same realm. And oh my goodness, how do I manage my portfolio now? It's 2, 3, 4 times higher and whatnot. This is where you can get some serious larger levels on your pullout. And you do dent your portfolio. This is where you dent your portfolio. This is a very tiny dent at 5 and a noticeable dent at 25. But as the market goes up, you're going to really still notice gains very, very well. Using any type of mathematical principles, just trying to think of situations, what to do if this happens, that happens, I think is beneficial because with gains like this, you could have low, medium, and high. And let's just assume those people who wouldn't got into cryptos a while back, even pre this year, like 2020 and before, and you put in the low, which is a very small amount, medium, which is an okay amount. You could very noticeable amount, but I mean you didn't go super aggressive, and yeah, you went super aggressive here. If you're in the low end and you just put a very small amount in for what your portfolio is worth, say a year ago, whatever, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 6 months ago, then you're gonna probably notice, hey, that it's becoming a serious thing. And pulling it, maybe you don't want to as much, maybe depending on your situation, but it just becomes when you put a small amount in. If it does, if it works, it could become real. That's the whole point. in my opinion, if one puts small amounts into cryptocurrencies, even when they're extremely bearish on it, as like insurance. What happens if this does work and it has monster gains? Well, if you don't put much in and you start talking about 10, 20, 50, 60x, whatever, more x gains, well, then now all of a sudden you got a decent portfolio. Then in here, this is if you're in this case where you put in a decent amount. I mean, anything above whatever, your portfolio is just sickly high. Have you not been profit taking? Because really, the way I would be thinking, if you're in this area, you really want to find. This makes it difficult to profit take, and you almost have to profit take if you. I mean, you'd be so rich at this stage anyway. And then how much you do? Again, that's when you go the 1 to 5%, 5 to 25. I mean, if you're pulling out like 50, 75, 100, that's an aggressive play. Is it the time to do it? Is it the right play? That's for yourself to figure out. And we'll finish it off with Ripple against Bitcoin, and it's having a fantastic run right now. Also, I've been distributing out of this bits and pieces here and there. I'm using some of it to get into things like Mona and other different things as well. Actually, no, I'm going to show T-Fuel as well. So this is the second final coin. But have this level of resistance established here in February, pull back, now coming towards that level. We can just see yesterday's session up 42%, right now up 7.5%. It was up higher earlier in the day's session. But then what's it been? The only pullback is from this high, and it's been correcting well so far within the 18. You start to see it leave it here before. You had all this congesting at the 18, and the exitation on this one was just a fantastic run. Here it exited, well, previous, here's an exitation here in the April. Nice run. Before that, the exitation happened right here on April 4th, had the run. It was the last exitation of the 18. Sort of here, but technically speaking, I guess it would have been like here. But it's from this point, it was on a downtrend though. But nonetheless, it's been in a fantastic, fantastic run. Quickly Theta, then Theta Fuel. And within it, it's I like. I mean, nothing really has been hanging in there within the 18 average of lows. You could say it's showing weakness in amongst an extremely strong setup. So take that for what it's worth. But this is kind of what I've been hoping for in the sense. Let's see everything else go up and Theta not. And that's what's going in. So I've been doing a decent amount of buying, good amount of buying over the last couple of days of Theta, which is what I want. As a lot of my ratios are working well. In fact, I was even just different things at the top. And oh my goodness, what do I get? I got bought a bunch of Go Chain. I got out of Go Chain completely today and just bought my Theta back because it was like too good of a gain. And just doing Litecoin, of course. I just started buying Litecoin. Tezos recently has been decent, nice returns in the last couple of days. Tezos, and then getting Theta back that way because Tezos has been having a good run lately, and I think that's going to be doing well as well. I think we're in a big dartboard rally, but Theta's already had a spectacular gain that sometimes it just can't participate with the rest of the coins, and maybe it's got to do something like this when other ones go up, and that's what I hope. And pretty cool if it does. Now, one of the strategies that I'd like to do, and it's not like I've had many opportunities to do it, but finally here I have, is when something has amazing X gains against the Bitcoin. And in this case, this is 1,000 up to like 25. That's a 25x gain. That's the start of amazing gains as far as I'm concerned. So because it was the start of amazing gains, it was the start for me to sell for Bitcoin, which is something I don't like to do. Hold the Bitcoin with the intention of buying it back cheaper, but not until it at least is better than half off. So I sold it like 25, 26K. So we're looking at like 10, 11,000. Well, what I would do, and the math is so awesome on this, you wait for more than a 50% decline, like 60% works out well. Then you take half of the amount, say in this case half the Bitcoin that you got first time. I deposit that to the exchange, buy the Theta. I'm going to get a little more Theta than I sold before for a little for about half the price. In fact, I'll probably do like 48, 49% type thing, just to counter fees and whatnot. And then if it goes down again to like, well, this case like 6,000 or something, I'll take the other part, maybe the full remainder or half or three quarters of the last remainder, and get an amazing return again. And if it never goes there, great, because as a long term holder, that's what I wouldn't mind not happening. But if it does, I'll be ready for that play. And as far as T Fuel is concerned, this is when I sold at 1,000 right at the top here, which is pretty cool. In fact, pretty much microscopically above it with all the rake fees taken away. So I probably got like 1,009 or something with the exchange when it was all said and done. Pretty much 400 is where I want to buy this back at, an exact same strategy that I talk about. And then if it goes down to maybe like 250 or 200 or something, I'll do it again. I sold, and what I've done also too, because I was just like with Theta on the way up, it's like, oh my goodness, I gotta do something with it. So Bitcoin was an easy thing to put in. I also put Theta into Polkadot or Theta Fuel. So this was like March, May, like this is topping at like March 22nd to like 23rd. That's when I was selling it. And now as far as Polkadot's concerned, March 23rd, like this is like in here. So Polkadot's been up. I've sold some of my Polkadot that I bought some of my T Fuel back, about 40% of my position, because I think Polkadot is going to be in line for a tremendous gain. I like how it's holding and staying above these previous highs. And I'm going to quickly just put up Tezos, which to me I think is ready for a fantastic, fantastic move on reaching a key resistance level of 1180. So far, piercing less, but this probably tells me that this move that it's been having is not over yet. We can see a correctionary phase in here. I think it's going to break it and have a move within the next few days. What happens, happens, of course. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye bye.